The power of repetition. Reprogram your subconscious. Change your paradigm. There's a reason your life keeps circling back to the same place. Same fears. Same results. Same excuses wearing different clothes. Same patterns in a new year. It's not that you don't want change. It's not that you're not capable. It's that you're being run by something you didn't choose consciously. A paradigm. An invisible program that lives in your subconscious mind. Paradigms are not just thoughts. They are the patterns beneath your thoughts. They are the conditioned beliefs you never questioned. The default behaviors you repeat even when they cost you. The emotional reactions that feel automatic. The stories you live by, even if they keep you small. And here's what most people never realize. Your paradigm is not your personality. It's your programming. And it can be changed. You aren't born thinking, I'm not good enough. Money is hard. Love always hurts. I can't speak up. That's just not me. You learned those beliefs. And what you learned can be unlearned and replaced. But not through willpower alone. Not through a motivational video once a month. No, it happens through repetition. Daily, intentional, relentless repetition. Because repetition is the language of the subconscious mind. You've been hypnotized by repetition your whole life. What your parents said over and over. What school taught. What you heard in your neighborhood. What trauma made you repeat inside your head. What culture screamed in every song, screen, and scroll. And now, your subconscious runs on those scripts like background code. But here's the power no one taught you. If repetition built the cage, repetition can unlock the door. You don't need to fight your paradigm with force. You need to override it with frequency. Here's what a paradigm is. A belief system on autopilot. A mental operating system. A lens you wear that colors everything you see. A set of repeated ideas that feel like truth. An identity glued in place by repetition. You don't rise above a paradigm with one breakthrough. You rise through consistent reconditioning. Say it. I see it now. I've been living in a pattern that no longer fits me. I've been run by a paradigm that isn't mine. But today, I take the pen back. Today, I begin to rewrite my program. Today, I repeat something different. Because when you understand the power of repetition, you stop reacting and you start reprogramming. The subconscious mind does not speak your language. It doesn't care about logic. It doesn't understand should. It doesn't respond to force. It doesn't change because you want it to. It changes because you teach it. And repetition is its first language. You can't will your way to a new life. You repetition your way there. Because the subconscious is a habitual recorder. It takes in what it hears, over and over again. What it sees repeatedly, what it feels emotionally on a consistent basis. And then it creates your reality from that. Not what's true, but what's familiar. And whatever is repeated becomes familiar. That's why affirmations matter. That's why habits matter. That's why self-talk matters. That's why who you hang around matters. Because your subconscious is always listening, always watching, always absorbing. And once it accepts something as truth, it builds your life around it. Here's how the subconscious learns. 1. Through emotionally charged experiences. Trauma, rejection, achievement, pain, praise. When something hits you emotionally, it gets stored. Your subconscious goes, this must be important. Let's hold on to this. So if you had one big emotional failure as a kid, you might be living under a you're not good enough belief decades later. 2. Through repetition. What you repeat, you retain. Even if it's a lie. Even if it's painful. Even if you say, I don't believe that anymore. If you keep repeating it in your mind, your subconscious still does. The truth is simple. The subconscious doesn't know the difference between truth and repetition. It believes what it hears most. Step 2. 3. Through visualization and sensory experience. See it. Feel it. Speak it. Again and again. The subconscious is impressionable. The more you mentally rehearse something with emotion, the more your nervous system begins to normalize it. Until one day, you're not trying to believe it. You just do. And this is the power. Because if the subconscious can learn limitation, it can also learn liberation. If it's been conditioned by chaos, you can recondition it with clarity. If it's absorbed pain, you can now feed it possibility. You don't need to beg it. You don't need to fight it. You just need to repeat something better long enough, and often enough, and with belief behind it. Say it. My subconscious is not my enemy. It's my student. And I am now the teacher. I will repeat power until it becomes my pattern. I will speak truth until it becomes my default. I will condition myself into freedom. Because I now know this. What I repeat, I become. You weren't born with limits. You didn't enter this world thinking you were broken, afraid to speak up, scared to fail, hesitant to dream. You learned that from words you heard too often and words you didn't hear enough. You learned it through repetition, through moments that stacked on each other until they became your programming. A paradigm is a mental framework, a fixed way of thinking. It's what you believe is normal, realistic, possible, or just the way I am. But here's the truth. You were not born with your current paradigm. You were conditioned into it. And what's been conditioned can be reconstructed. So how are paradigms formed? 1. Repetition during childhood. From the moment you were born to around age 7, your brain lived in a theta state, a subconscious sponge. You absorbed everything. The tone of your home, the way adults handled money, anger, love, success, failure. You watched. You listened. And most importantly, you repeated what you saw and it stuck. 2. High emotion experiences. The time you were humiliated in school. The betrayal. The big loss. The time you failed and decided, this must be who I am now. One moment. One emotion. And suddenly, a new belief is born. And if it echoes enough in your head, it becomes a paradigm. 3. Cultural and social conditioning. What did your environment repeat to you? Success is for other people. Money's evil. Don't speak unless spoken to. Dreams don't pay bills. This is just how we are. Say it enough, and you'll live it without ever questioning it. But here's where the chains begin to crack. You realize your paradigm is just a repeated pattern. It is not fixed. It is not final. It is programmable. And that means you can break free. How do you break an old paradigm? 1. Repetition of a new identity. Start speaking the opposite of your old belief. Not once. Not when you feel inspired. Daily. On repeat. With emotion. You don't just say, I am confident. You say, I am confident because I train my mind daily. I am successful because I am aligned with my power. I am free because I no longer think like the old me. 2. Daily mental rehearsal. Visualize yourself acting from the new paradigm. See yourself walking in the room with strength. Hear yourself speak boldly. Feel what it's like to trust yourself. Because if your mind can imagine it vividly, your brain starts believing it's real. 3. Consistency over intensity. You don't need to feel it every time. You need to keep showing up. Old paradigms don't die from one punch. They dissolve from constant repetition. One thought at a time. One affirmation at a time. One belief at a time. Say it. I was programmed without my consent. But now, I'm reprogramming with intention. The paradigm ends here. The repetition begins now. Every day I repeat new truths. Every day I reclaim old power. I am not a prisoner, I'm the architect now. The world told you change takes time. But what it didn't tell you is that change takes repetition more than anything. Because what you do consistently is who you become permanently. You want to rewire your life? Then you must repeat thoughts, words, actions, and emotions that match the future you want. Every single day. This isn't about hype. This isn't about trying to believe. This is about training your mind like it's a muscle. And repetition is your weight. You lift it until the weak thoughts fail, until the limiting beliefs collapse, until the old identity can't hold on anymore. You repeat truth until it becomes your default setting. So how do you use repetition as a weapon? 1. Create a mental training ritual. You don't get a new paradigm by accident. You install it like software. Set a time. Set a space. Make it sacred. Every day, repeat your new beliefs out loud. Not once. Not when it feels good. But until your subconscious stops questioning it. Speak it. Feel it. Breathe it in. Over and over until it feels familiar. 2. Write it until you become it. Repetition through writing is physical programming. When you write, "I am confident" 10 times a day, you're not just scribbling words. You're carving new grooves into your brain. Repetition turns identity into automatic behavior. You don't just think differently. You are different. 3. Use audio programming while your mind is most open. Right before bed. First thing when you wake up. These are your windows of neuroplasticity. Your subconscious is wide open. Listen to powerful affirmations. Or better yet, record your own. Let them loop. Let them sink. Because what you hear in those quiet hours becomes your voice in the loud ones. Part 4. Flood out the old. You don't delete limiting beliefs. You drown them. You play the new pattern until the old one has no room left to breathe. Think of it like this. Every repetition of a new belief is a drop of water in a glass. At first, the dirt's still there. But keep pouring. Eventually, it overflows. And the glass is clean. Repetition is not boring. It's brutal precision. It's how the athlete trains. It's how the soldier sharpens. It's how the master becomes unshakable. And you? You repeat because you're done living like the old version of you still has control. Say it. I train my mind through repetition. I rewrite my identity with intention. I repeat the truth until my subconscious surrenders to it. I speak it. I write it. I hear it. I feel it. Because I know now repetition isn't weakness. It's how I take my mind back. You're not who you say you are. You're who you repeat yourself to be. Identity is not fixed. It's forged. And repetition is the fire. Every time you say, "I'm just not that confident. I've always been lazy. I'm not good with money. I'm the kind of person who never finishes things." You're not making an observation. You're making a contract. You're telling your subconscious, "Lock this in. This is who we are now." And it listens. It always listens. But here's the truth you weren't told. That identity isn't you. It's your repetition. And what you repeat long enough becomes who you believe you are. But belief isn't truth. It's just a pattern. And if you can repeat limitation into identity, you can repeat freedom into existence. Because your identity is not made in one decision. It's made in the daily micro-decisions you repeat until they become default. Who are you becoming? The person who wakes up early. The person who keeps their word. The person who shows up when it's hard. The person who leads with discipline. The person who forgives quickly and focuses faster. These aren't labels. They're habits, repetitions, patterns. And every repetition is a vote cast for the kind of person you are becoming. You don't build identity with one powerful moment. You build it with thousands of invisible ones. Waking up when you said you would. saying no when it would have been easier to say yes, speaking life instead of fear, thinking abundance instead of scarcity, taking the next step even when you don't feel ready. That's what rewires you. That's what redefines you. And the world will call you disciplined when all you did was repeat who you chose to become. Say it. My identity is not a label, it's a practice. I am what I do consistently. I am who I prove myself to be, day in, day out. I will not let the past name me. I will not let doubt claim me. I will choose who I am and repeat it until the world can't ignore it. Because identity is repetition, and I'm becoming undeniable. You think it's all about willpower. You think you need to try harder, push more, fight the old thoughts. But here's what you were never taught. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your repetition. And your environment? That's where repetition lives, silently training you every day. The music you hear, the conversations around you, the quotes on your wall, the books on your desk, the voices on your timeline, the energy in your room. It's not just noise. It's programming. And if your environment is repeating confusion, doubt, distraction, fear, don't be surprised when your mind repeats the same. The subconscious absorbs everything. The question is, what is it absorbing daily around you? So, how do you use environment to reprogram your paradigm? 1. Clean it physically and mentally. A cluttered space creates a cluttered mind. A toxic circle creates a toxic default. So clear it, organize it, upgrade it. Make your space reflect your future, not your past. 2. Fill the room with affirmation, not agitation. Put up reminders. I am focused. I am growing. I am becoming. Not for decoration, for repetition. Because the more your eyes see truth, the more your mind believes it by default. 3. Control the soundtrack of your life. Music, podcasts, videos. These are injections of energy into your mind. Are they teaching you peace, purpose, power, or are they repeating garbage? What plays in your ears? Plays in your head when it's quiet. So choose your soundtrack with intention. 4. Curate your circle. Your friends are programming you. Their habits, their language, their energy. If they complain all day, you repeat negativity. If they dream bigger, you stretch. If they think discipline is weird, you shrink to stay accepted. Energy is contagious. Make sure the energy around you is aligned with where you're going. You want to reprogram your mind? Then don't just fight the old you. Starve it. Starve it of old triggers, of old music, of old arguments, of old stories that kept you small. Feed the future. Flood the new voice. Repeat the new energy through your environment. Because you don't need to be stronger. You need to be smarter. And a smart warrior controls the battlefield. Say it. My environment is my ally or my enemy. I choose to shape it with intention. I fill my space with what repeats success. I protect my energy. I align my surroundings with my identity. Because I'm not fighting for change anymore. I'm programming it every second, every sound, every space. Change doesn't come from a single spark. It comes from the fire you tend daily. And repetition is how you keep the flame alive. You don't rise by accident. You rise through ritual. Because while the old paradigm built itself through unconscious repetition, the new one must be built with conscious, sacred intention. Here's the truth. The most powerful people on the planet aren't lucky. They're intentional. They don't leave their mind open to chaos. They shape it before the world gets a chance to. They don't hope to stay focused. They train it daily, ritualistically, ruthlessly. So here are the daily repetition rituals to rewire and rise. 1. Morning conditioning, first 15 minutes rule. Before the scroll. Before the world. Before the chaos. Command your state. Affirm who you are. Visualize your future self succeeding. Speak your truth aloud. Move your body. Say out loud, "This is who I am now." Because the first voice you hear in the day sets the tone for your identity. .02. Pen to paper. Rewrite the program daily. Every morning or night write, "Who am I becoming? What do I believe now? What am I commanding into my subconscious today?" Then write it out again and again and again. Not as a task, but as a tuning fork. Because writing equals engraving, and engraved thoughts become automated beliefs. 3. Audio immersion. Your 24/7 mind trainer. Loop it. Affirmations. Script. Recordings of your own voice saying who you're becoming. Play it during sleep, driving, gym, cooking, walking. Let your mind be bathed in the frequency of your future. 4. Identity action. Ask daily, what would the new me do today? Then do it. Not 50 things, just one. One better meal, one bold message, one deep breath instead of panic, 1 hour of focused work instead of delay. Every action is a vote for the new you, and repetition wins the election. Number 5. Nighttime programming. The final word is yours. Right before sleep. Return to the truth. The subconscious is wide open. Don't drift off with the news. Don't end your day with shame, worry, or loops. End it with alignment. Gratitude for what went right. One affirmation spoken aloud. One visualization of the person you're stepping into. Let your final repetition be power. This is how the new you becomes real. Not with force, with frequency. Not through hype, through habits. Not someday, every single day. Because you're not just reprogramming your mind, you're reclaiming it. You're not just changing your life, you're writing a new paradigm. Say it. I rise through repetition. I command my subconscious with truth. I move in daily alignment. I affirm the future until it becomes the now. Every word I speak is programming. Every thought I repeat is training. Every action I take is identity in motion. The old pattern is gone. The new paradigm is here. And I don't just believe it. I repeat it until I am it.